We started Fortify Foundation in order to strengthen the Christian school movement by strengthening individual Christian schools, primarily by creating an efficient and expert platform where they grow endowment funds, rainy day funds, and scholarships. Too often, Christian schools are working hard each year to balance their budget, attempting to fill any gap with private charitable support. That reality may work most normal years, but as we've seen, not every year is a normal year. And it doesn't take a global pandemic to upset normal. Sometimes it's an HVAC issue, sometimes it's a decline in enrollment, and sometimes it's the you fill in the blank next thing you could not have predicted. I wanted to see Christian schools move from surviving to thriving. I believe if God is for a school, He'll fund that school completely. With Fortify, we can come alongside Christian schools and encourage and facilitate major and planned gifts from the friends and fans of a school to establish and grow endowment and other funds that can mitigate the pain of the uncertain. That's what Joseph did. In the case of Egypt, with the benefit of the Pharaoh's dream and his God-given interpretation, Joseph set out to fill the storehouse over the course of 7 years in order to survive the coming 7 years of famine. If we've learned anything this year, it's that our version of famine can be right around the corner and seemingly hit us out of nowhere.
I see Fortify as a critical and strategic ministry partner for Christian schools. Sustainability has always been a concern. How can a school strive to deliver academic and spiritual excellence if it is struggling to keep its doors open? From my perspective, shoring up our school's sustainability is not merely about security or certainty. Those things are hard to guarantee. It's more about stewardship. Fortify Foundation can come alongside Christian schools and their stakeholders through building and growing endowment funds, scholarships, and other purpose-designated funds, ensuring to the best of our ability that those schools not only keep their doors open and their lights on, but can weather any unforeseen storm. Fill every seat, hire the best teachers, and continue producing Christ-minded followers who will reach their world for Christ. That's what Fortify Foundation is about. It's not just about building assets for the sake of building assets. It's about building assets to do our part in accomplishing the Great Commission.
What's the value of Fortify Foundation to you and your school? Where do I start? We're a medium-sized Christian school serving the west side of Columbia, South Carolina, with a preschool through 12th grade. In addition to our core curriculum and Bible classes, we provide a robust fine arts and athletic program for our students. It's not an inexpensive undertaking. We also do not have a development person on staff, which makes me both the school administrator and the chief development officer. Fundraising is something that is critical to our school, but it's not something that I have significant experience with, especially dealing with major gifts of complex assets. We certainly aren't promoting planned giving in any meaningful way right now. Fortify can help us with all of these things, from having the different funds available, to having the investment manager in place, to providing side-by-side support to me and working directly with our donors when needed. Fortify is a huge blessing that is filling gaps we don't have time to, or frankly, the expertise to fill. I don't see a downside for Grace Christian School partnering with Fortify Foundation, and I think our donors, parents, grandparents, and friends will appreciate the opportunity to strengthen their school through Fortify.
What's the mission of Fortify Foundation? To provide the infrastructure and the expertise to allow Christian schools to thrive fiscally. The vision? That's simple, to see fully funded Christian schools across the country. What's the focus of Fortify Foundation? With the input of Christian school leaders, we've focused on 4 particular areas that can have a transformative impact on Christian education school by school. Number 1, thriving schools. Number 2, attracting and retaining students. And number 3, welcoming and safe campuses. And number 4, equipped and well-compensated teachers. With thriving schools, imagine your school fully funded, accomplishing its mission, yet nimble and responsive to both challenges and opportunities. With attracting and retaining students, imagine yourself welcoming families and their children to fill all of the seats regardless of their ability to pay. With welcoming and safe campuses, imagine your students engaging in state-of-the-art classrooms and learning environments, all within an attractive and safe setting. With fully equipped and well-compensated teachers, imagine your teachers completely equipped and supported with access to the best in continuing education. If we could provide the platform and the expertise for every Christian school and their stakeholders to move the needle on just one of these areas, the kingdom impact would be beyond what we could imagine. How does Fortify help Christian schools strengthen these areas? Well, Fortify Foundation is just a charitable toolbox for Christian schools and their stakeholders, their parents, grandparents, sponsoring congregations, alumni, and other local Christ followers. The school or a school stakeholder can open and then subsequently add to a fund held by Fortify to exclusively benefit that local Christian school, and the fund can either be an endowment or it could be for a short-term purpose. Schools could choose to open with Fortify, number one, a general endowment fund. With the goal of preserving and growing the principal, the school could spigot on and off annual distributions from their fund. Two, an endowed scholarship fund. With the same goal of preserving and growing the principal of the scholarship, the school can award scholarships based on need, merit, or a combination of both. Three, an endowment benefiting the campus and building of the schools. And four, an endowment benefiting the faculty and staff of the schools. Similarly, a donor or a friend of a school could establish an endowed designated fund. It's actually just an endowment in their name benefiting their specific school. Or an endowed scholarship in their name, or in honor or memory of someone else awarded each year by their school. Schools may also have Fortify hold shorter term funds. Joseph funds are shorter term reserve or rainy day funds that a school could use to respond to an unforeseen expense or take advantage of a new opportunity. Adopt-a-Student funds provide a mechanism for providing tuition assistance responsive to the financial needs of current or prospective students and their families. Welcoming and Engaging Spaces funds provide a place to raise and park funds for large or small-scale capital campaigns and related capital projects until those funds are needed. Teacher Continuing Ed and Material Assistant funds provide a bucket to resource teachers and their classrooms.
Teacher compensation is one of the burdens I carry as a school administrator. While I am ever grateful that our faculty approach their work at Grace Christian School as a calling, as a ministry, I also have to wrestle with Luke 10:7. The laborer is worthy of his hire. We want to be in a position to not have merely adequate compensation, but to have generous compensation. We want our teachers to be able to invest in their own ministry by purchasing things for their class out of Holy Spirit prompting and opportunity, and not out of necessity. This is one of our areas of need that I believe our donors and ministry partners will respond favorably to.
A word on scholarships. One of the Fortify Foundation services I am most excited about is scholarships. My family is blessed. Our kids have attended Christian school right from the very start. However, I know there are many parents that would love their children to also experience a Christ-centered, high-quality education, and they just need financial help to make that dream a reality. I also know that not every Christian school is at capacity. If those of us who are able could start or support a scholarship fund benefiting our Christian school, we could satisfy both needs, fill all the seats, and allow more students to be taught and discipled by our teachers. That's a win-win for me. It's hard to deny the need for Christian education. When you watch the destruction of both major cities as well as smaller, it will never happen here cities, and see the scores of young adults participating in the destruction and violence, how can you not think that pouring as many resources into Christian education as possible is a critical endeavor? Scholarships are a great place to start, and we need to start now.
Opening a fund at Fortify Foundation for the exclusive benefit of your school is easy. Number one, select the type of fund you'd like to establish, whether an endowment or scholarship or other short-term fund. Number two, complete a fund application found at fortifyfoundation.com/apply. Number three, decide what type of assets you'd like to give to Fortify to start the fund. The most common choices are appreciated stock or mutual fund shares, a QCD, qualified charitable distribution, more commonly known as an IRA rollover for those 70 and a half or older. It's great for grandparents to consider. Other non-liquid assets like real estate or closely held business interests, and of course, cash. Number 4, sign a letter of transmittal or fund agreement establishing the fund.
So what's on the horizon for Christian schools? We have to be about this work, doing everything we can to ensure Christian schools are thriving. While certain recent milestones are encouraging, like the Espinoza case that struck down Montana's effort to stop funding private Christian schools, all is not smooth sailing. Just days after the Espinoza case came down, the Los Angeles Teachers Union refused to participate in reopening public schools until charter schools were shut down and defunded. They may not have prevailed this time around, but that sentiment is not isolated to the coast. We'll likely have to fight this battle again and again. Yes, let's fully pursue tax-funded programs across as many states as we can. But let's also put the private resource to work that God has already gathered around our Christian schools. Fortify Foundation can help that happen.